Did you know the oldest potted plant is over 240 years old? It's like having a plant older than America. Imagine a plant in your family for centuries. That's what we call a green thumb legacy. If you want a garden that outlives you, stick around. We've got fresh ideas to supercharge your gardening this year. Welcome back, everyone. A new year means new beginnings. We make goals, hit the gym, and maybe even try reading more and watching less TV. But what about your garden? Let's make this year its best yet. Whether you're a pro or just starting, it's time to dream big, plan smart, and avoid those gardening blunders. If you're finding this helpful, give us a thumbs up. It helps others find our channel. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button to join our plant-loving family. We'll learn together, try new things, and most importantly, figure out what not to do to save ourselves from garden disasters. Before we jump into a new year of gardening fun, let's take a look back at the year gone by. Every garden, big or small, has a story. It's a story of sunshine and rain, of yummy veggies, and let's be honest, some flops too. But those flops, those are our teachers. Remember that lettuce that went straight to seed, or those zucchini with the white fuzz? Don't forget them. They hold valuable lessons. Now's the time to see what worked and what didn't. Remember the good stuff too. That mountain of tomatoes or those sunflowers reaching for the sky. Those successes are stepping stones to even bigger and better things. We've looked back. Now let's look forward. Time to set some goals for this year's garden. We've all been there, starting with big dreams, only to be swamped by summer. This year, let's do it differently. Let's set SMART goals. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Specific means clear goals. Instead of more veggies, say, I want to grow 10 tomato plants and 5 cucumber plants. Measurable means tracking progress. Use photos, a notebook, or even a chart. Achievable means being realistic. Don't plant a whole orchard in a tiny backyard. Relevant means matching your goals to your dream garden. And time-bound means setting deadlines. It keeps us on track. See the difference? Now that we know what SMART goals are, let's avoid some common traps. First, don't be overly ambitious. Remember, gardening is working with nature, not against it. Don't do too much too soon. Start small and grow gradually. Keep it simple, especially at the beginning. And don't be scared to fail. Gardening is about trying things out. Embrace the learning. And remember, even experts have setbacks. Lastly, don't forget to enjoy the ride. Gardening is a slow dance, not a race. Don't get so focused on the finish line that you forget to enjoy getting your hands dirty. SMART goals? Check. Now let's get our hands dirty, literally. Time to plan the look and feel of our garden. Step outside and really look at your space. How does the sun move throughout the day? Sunny spots? Shady spots? A bit of both? Next, what kind of soil do you have? Clay, sand, or something in between? Now think about which plants like to be neighbors. Some are best buddies, others not so much. Think about their height, how much they spread, and their roots. Don't be afraid to experiment with different layouts. Straight rows for veggies or a wildflower mix for a cottage feel. There's no right or wrong, just create a space you love. And don't forget about access. Make sure you can easily reach every corner for planting, weeding, and picking those goodies. A well-planned garden is a joy to work in. One of the best things about gardening is seeing the seasons change. But how do we plan for this and have a garden that produces all year round? It starts with knowing your local climate. Learn your area's frost dates and average rainfall. Once you know your climate, you can plan what to plant when. Succession planting is a cool trick for a longer harvest. Instead of planting everything at once, sow small batches every few weeks. Don't forget about winter gardening. Leafy greens and root veggies can handle the cold. And lastly, put your garden to bed properly at the end of the season. A little fall prep means a happy spring garden. Now the exciting part, plants. With so many to choose from, it can be overwhelming. Start with your goals, homegrown food, attract butterflies and bees, or just a beautiful spot to relax. The plants you pick should match your vision. Next, think about your climate and growing conditions. Choose plants that like your area's temperature, rain, and soil. Don't be afraid to try new and unique varieties. If you're new to this, start easy with tomatoes, lettuce, and zucchini. And lastly, think about the colors, textures, and shapes you want in your garden. We've got our plants. Now let's talk about the foundation of a great garden, the soil. Healthy soil is alive and gives your plants the good stuff they need to grow strong. First, clear the area of any weeds or grass. Next, add some goodness to your soil with compost, manure, or leaf mold. Speaking of compost, if you're not doing it already, now's the time. It's like recycling for your garden. Once you've added your compost, mix it in well, at least a foot deep. And lastly, test your soil every few years to check its pH and nutrients. Water is like magic for plants. Without it, they just wither away. The trick is to water deeply, but less often. This helps their roots grow strong and deep. Mulch is your best friend when it comes to saving water. A thick layer around your plants stops weeds, keeps the soil comfy, and slows down evaporation. Think about getting a rain barrel to collect free water from your roof. It's like a gift from the sky for your plants. You can even use leftover water from baths or showers, but skip the harsh chemicals and bleach. A watering can with a fine nose is great for watering seedlings and delicate plants. For bigger areas, use a soaker hose or drip irrigation. These deliver water right to the roots, so less is wasted. And lastly, adjust your watering depending on the weather. Pests. Those little critters that love to munch on our plants. We can't get rid of them completely, but we can outsmart them naturally. Prevention is key. A healthy garden is like a fortress against pests. Invite beneficial insects like ladybugs and lacewings. They're like tiny guardians that eat bad bugs. Companion planting is another neat trick. Marigolds, garlic, and onions are like pest repellents. If you do get pests, try natural solutions first before reaching for chemicals. Neem oil, insecticidal soap, or even a strong spray of water can work wonders. And lastly, embrace a little bit of nature's diversity in your garden. Now let's talk about keeping our gardens tidy. A little bit of care goes a long way. The secret is to stay on top of things. Don't let weeds take over. Regular weeding, either by hand or with a hoe, is a must. Pruning keeps plants healthy and can even give you more produce. Feeding your plants is important too. Use a good organic fertilizer a few times during the growing season. Keep an eye out for any signs of pests or diseases. Catching them early is crucial. And lastly, take time to just relax and enjoy your beautiful garden. Harvesting is like the grand finale of gardening. After all that work, it's time to enjoy the fruits and veggies of our labor. Timing is key when it comes to harvesting. Different plants have different signs of ripeness. Use sharp tools when harvesting to avoid hurting the plant. For root veggies like carrots, loosen the soil before pulling them up. Once you've picked your goodies, store them properly to keep them fresh longer. Some like it cool and dark, others prefer room temperature. And don't let anything go to waste. Get creative in the kitchen with canning, pickling, freezing, or drying. Let's talk money. Gardening can be easy on the wallet, but let's be real about the costs. The good news is, you don't need a fortune to have a thriving garden. Set a budget for your garden. Think about seeds, soil, tools, and other supplies. Save money by starting seeds indoors instead of buying seedlings. You can also make new plants from cuttings. Use free resources like compost and rainwater. Keep track of your spending and how much you harvest to see your garden's ROI. And remember, the real value of gardening goes beyond money. Gardening is all about learning as you go, and it's okay to make mistakes. Every seed you sow, every weed you pull, every bug you see, it all teaches you something new. The joy is in the journey, not just the destination. So go out there, try new things, and grow along with your garden. If this video helped you plan your garden or gave you some useful tips, give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. By subscribing, you become part of our garden-loving family, sharing tips and tricks. After all, this is the Don't Do This guide, and we learn from our mistakes just as much as our successes. Share your own garden goals in the comments below. Let's inspire each other to grow not just plants, but knowledge, resilience, and a sense of community.